Hello YouTube, welcome back to Jordy's Basement. My name is Jordan and this is part 3 of 3 on this incredible collection and haul that I acquired a few weeks back. If you haven't seen parts 1 and part 2, please do check them out. There's a lot in there. I go through stuff very quickly, but it's all very special. I thought it was a really great haul and some really cool stuff in there. As I mentioned in the other 2 videos, there's probably twice as much in this haul that I did not, or at least I have not initially taken. I have boxes across the room with at least double of that amount that I'm still on the fence. I might make videos on them as well. I also have a pretty good haul of 45s. I don't collect 45s, so I'd like to show you those as well to see if what you guys think of those. So that might be coming down the road too. I appreciate you hanging out with me here again. These are in no particular order. This last section are the less immaculate ones, but still very cool stuff. They're just not all, you know, VG++, excellent mint condition type stuff. But it's all over the board. Starting with the Spinners. This is the debut album from the Spinners. This is in excellent condition. And they're just a great soul slash became disco later. Just a great band. Happy to have that. I showed a Spinners one in an earlier video. Here is the classic prog. Oh, Be Very Afraid. In the Court of the Crimson King. Of course, King Crimson. An absolute classic package. And this is it's not an original press, I don't believe, but it is an early press on the orange and green Atlantic label. And I haven't seen one in this good a condition in the wild in a very, very long time. So I'm very happy this will be going into the collection. Here's one that's quite different from Crimson. This is the Fix. This is going now into the 80s. This is an album called Phantoms that came out after they broke with Reach the Beach in the early 80s. And this is a really good record. I don't own it, so I'm happy to have it. So a very obscure movie from the 80s that I thought I was the only one that really liked. It's kind of a cheesy movie called About Last Night. But when I saw this soundtrack in this collection, I thought this whole collection belongs with me because I never even knew this existed. Rob Lowe and Demi Moore. Great movie About Last Night. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Jim Belushi's fantastic in it. My least favorite Led Zeppelin album is In Through the Outdoor. I do not own it on vinyl, so this one doesn't have the paper bag, but still, it's pretty good to add to the collection. The Doors, Waiting for the Sun. Pretty cool. Some of these, I know I showed all these immaculate albums from the first 2 videos, but for some reason, this must have been a different person owning these at some point. A lot of these gatefolds, they actually taped the gatefold shut. So if you notice on this one in particular, and you'll notice in some others, you have the tape here and the tape here. Why they did that is beyond me. I guess they wanted to keep them, I have no idea. But yeah, of course you can access the record from the outside. So I don't know, it's kind of a bummer, but Waiting for the Sun by the Doors. Here's an interesting fact. I've been collecting records all these years. I'm from the 70s. I was born in the late 60s. I never owned a Kiss album. Now I do. Rock and roll over. I wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of Kiss's music at all. I'm not a fan of them as people, really, from what I've seen. It just never grabbed me. Everybody had Kiss posters on their wall in the 70s. I did not. I had Farrah Fawcett, though. Everybody did. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, So Far. An album it's a very common album to have, but not in my collection yet, so now it is. Bachmann Turner Overdrive, their second album entitled 2. This is a classic. It's got hits like Let It Ride and Taking Care of Business, among others. I'm not a big knowledge base for BTO. I'm excited to become. There's a couple of them in this collection. And here's a cool couple of albums. Superman. This is the soundtrack to the movie, the original movie. Really cool picture in there. Superman. And of course, you have to have Superman 2. What's cool about this, I didn't know until I opened it, and hopefully this will come through on video. Superman 2, you can see it's etched. See that? On both sides. Very cool. I opened it up, and at first I thought it was really, really dirty with marks on it. And then I looked closer, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. It's etched. I don't think it's any kind of a special version. I think they're all like that, but still pretty cool. Superman 1 does not have that etching. So from Superman, we go, of course, to Johnny Mathis. Who else? Everybody's got to have Johnny Mathis in their collection. This one is called Open Fire, 2 guitars. Look at that. Johnny, get ready to be all romantic. And this might be an early pressing. I don't know. It's on the 6i Columbia. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. And from Johnny Mathis to, of course, Howard Jones, because where else would you go from there? But this is a French pressing of Jimmy Dag. I have this already. I think I have several copies of this. And I have an Israeli press of one of his records as well. But this one is definitely from France, so I'm happy to have it added to the collection, really just for collection purposes. I'm a big Howard Jones fan. Jim Croce's Greatest Hits. And this is actually on K-Tel. Pretty cool. What's cool about this one, which I'm not quite sure, I noticed that the cover was kind of flimsy, which usually means it's from a different country, usually. And this one here has a sticker on it, made in Spain. So it's a Spanish version, but the Spanish version actually has this in Spanish. So instead of Greatest Hits, it's, I don't really speak much Spanish, but it's all in Spanish. The label has in English, although it does have Spanish writing on it as well towards the bottom. Well, you can't see that. Oh my gosh, the hole's only on one side. Anyways, it's made in Spain, so it's kind of weird that it's in English, but whatever. All right, here's kind of a cool soundtrack, The Wiz. Of course, this was the Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Quincy Jones version of The Wizard of Oz. And this is in really great condition. I'm really happy to have this. I think it's kind of cool. Nice package, a lot of liner notes, tons of liner notes, so I'll be getting into that. And here is the second album by English band Madness. This is called Absolutely, and this is the one that really broke them. I'm a Madness fan. I think some of their stuff is quirky and funny and poppy and wonderful. This has Baggy Trousers. Embarrassment is on this album. So yeah, it's got some of their early hits. I'm very excited to have it. All right, some of these I'm going to skip. Everybody should have this in their collection, right? Diary of a Madman, Ozzy. This one's in excellent condition. Well, it has a little bit of ring wear. I shouldn't say no ring wear, but it's minimal. This is I think the last Bad Company album with Paul Rodgers, or the second to last. I'm not quite sure. Desolation Angels, and pretty cool. I don't own any Bad Company. This has a smash hit from them called Rock and Roll Fantasy, and I like Paul Rodgers' voice. I liked him in The Firm as well. I didn't like him in Queen, but I don't own any Bad Company, so good to happy to have that. Also, on that same note, I don't own any Aretha Franklin until now. So there's a couple of Aretha Franklin pieces in this collection I'm happy to have. This one's Amazing Grace, which was recorded with James Cleveland and the Southern California Community Choir live. Very, very, very cool. And this is a kind of a gospel-y album. Obviously, it was recorded in the Baptist Church, but it's in absolutely beautiful condition. I don't think we can see the label. It's a standard Atlantic label. I'm very happy to have Aretha in the collection now. Here's another soundtrack, Little Shop of Horrors. You can see that. Pretty cool. I didn't like the movie that much, but I thought the soundtrack was pretty neat. And here's one that I wasn't really paying much attention to until I discogged it, if that's a word, and saw that it's a pretty valuable record. Judy Garland, Over the Rainbow. Just such a tragic story, such a great story about Judy. This has all of her, standards on it. Nothing really special. It's not a gatefold or anything. There's no liner notes at all. Just the record. But this Cogs has a pretty valuable. I think it's like a $30 or $40 record. Who knew? So it's in the collection now. Grand Funk, Caught in the Act. Of course, Grand Funk, very big in the 70s, and this has Some Kind of Wonderful, Locomotion, Gimme Shelter. It's got, it's a live album. I'm not a big fan of live albums. I only own maybe, I would say a dozen maybe. But I thought that looked cool, so we'll keep that. Here's another BTO, 4-wheel drive. Talked about them earlier. Bachmann Turner Overdrive. Canada's own. Here's a little John Cougar Mellencamp. And I keep this because it's just in really, really great condition. It's nothing special. It's it's a standard record, but I don't own it, so now I do. Here's another copy of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And if you saw my earlier video, I think it was part 1 where I did a Tumbleweed Connection was in that, and I had 2 versions of that, the gatefold and the non-gatefold. This is the same situation. This is not a gatefold. Matter of fact, all there is 2 records in the one slot. So it's just a different pressing from a different time, different label, and so I'm keeping it. I can't. I just can't get rid of it. I probably shouldn't keep it. Here's another version of Talking Book, the Stevie Wonder. I showed this in a previous video. Got another copy there. A couple Billy Joels, again, very common records, but these are upgrade copies for me. Glass Houses on 52nd Street. This album contains my favorite Billy Joel song of all time, and that's Zanzibar. So I'm happy to have better copies of that. Here's what I'm looking forward to getting into. This is Parliament Live. The album is funky. The look of it, the packaging. I mean, the pictures, obviously you can't see them there, but the liner notes on the inside, just the Fuzzy Haskins, George Clinton, the players are incredible. Horns, bass, guitars, the whole thing. And then at the bottom it says, remember, take funk to heaven in 77. Loyal fans, maggots, clones, and funketeers. This is going to be a fun listen. Some of the songs are very long, but some of the titles are fantastic. Dr. Funkenstein, This is the Way We Funk With You. Just really, really cool stuff. I'm not familiar with Parliament. I probably should be. I'm a big fan of Sly and the Family Stone, and I have a lot of their stuff, but I don't have any Parliament, so I'm happy to listen to Parliament. Get rid of that alert. All right, here's another live one. This is Kansas 2 for the show. A big Kansas fan. There wasn't a lot of prog in this collection, but there was a couple really cool pieces. And this one, I believe this is the one that's dedicated to that fan. I believe it's in here somewhere. It was recorded over a couple of tours, and there was a fan, I'm pretty sure it's this album, who died going to their show, or coming home from their show. He went to the concert or something, and then he got into a car accident. Yeah. On August 14th, 1978, while returning home from a Kansas concert, John Hofert, a 14-year-old from Texas, was involved in a car accident that cost him his sight. He was blinded, and they dedicated this album to him. It's pretty cool. I look up, and the guy's still alive. He lost his sight permanently. But he remained friends with the band for over 40 years now. It's a pretty amazing story. So it's cool to see that. Here's Hall & Oates. Underrated. I mean, they had a lot of cheesy hits, but Hall & Oates had like 10 albums before they made it big, and this is one of them. This actually has a hit on it. Rich Girl is on this album. But back before they became big, they were just 2 guys trying to make it and cutting one good album after another. So this is a good one to add to the collection. In one of the previous videos, you saw the MoFi of Abbey Road. Here's a regular copy of Abbey Road. This is an Apple Abbey Road. I already have one of these, but this is a better cover than the one I have, so I'll be replacing that. George Thorogood and the Destroyers, later becoming George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. Moving on over. Nobody rocks like George. And this is a really, really cool record. 4-piece, just balls out rock and roll. Happy to have that. Some more modern stuff. Along with that is this live album from Pat Benatar. Yeah, Pat. Who now goes by Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. But still touring. Can't quite sing like she used to, but pretty cool to have that. Aerosmith. I don't have many Aerosmith records. Matter of fact, I think I only have 2. This is Toys in the Attic, not one that I had. And this is not in the greatest condition. However, the disc is, and that's what matters. So I keep pulling out the disc and you can't see it. So what's the point? Another one, Rockin' a Hard Place. Very underrated album, obviously without Joe Perry. But Bitches Brew is on this album. Jailbait and Lightning Strikes. The first 3 songs are fantastic. So that's going to be cool to spin. And another Beatles. This is another copy of Magical Mystery Tour. I already have several, but the reason why this one I kept is because it's usually when you find these in the wild, the booklet's not attached. It's usually sitting loose because it's been ripped out or otherwise fell out over 50 years. This one, the booklet is still inside. Most of the pages are barely hanging on, but they are attached. So I'm happy to add this to the collection. The cover's not in great shape, but you don't find them often, so when I do find them, I keep them. All right, maybe half a dozen or so left. Dick Clark, 20 Years of Rock and Roll. This is kind of a common record. It doesn't matter, though, because it's so very neat. I mean, some of the songs, there's, 40 songs on it, ranging from 1953 to 1972. Al Green, Curtis Mayfield, Tommy James, Bill Haley, all the hits. Very cool to have. All right, last couple. The OJs, Philadelphia's own. Collector's items, sorry. The OJs, of course, the great soul funk band. Again, taped shut on the inside so that it couldn't open. Why? And this is also a promo. It's kind of cool. But this is filled with, I mean, every single song on here is, Love Train. They're all smash hits. And from the OJs, of course, a perfect segue to Van Halen, 1984. A very common album. Happy to have that. Elton John's Greatest Hits. I'm not a Greatest Hits guy, but I am a completist, so I probably would not buy that on my own. I'm glad it was part of this collection. Here's an upgrade copy of another Billy Joel album. Not one of my favorites, but very good condition. Piano Man. All right, five more. This is Gospel Gold. I'm keeping it because, again, I like to be diverse. I'm going to listen to this. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It's gospel music, and if it's, if it lifts me up, then I'm gonna, it's worth having. So why not keep it? Here's another Aretha album. This one's special because this was recorded when she was, I want to say 14 years old in a church. It's just called Gospel. Look at her. It's a great picture. These recordings made in church when Aretha was 14 years old. Precious Lord, The Day Is Past and Gone. This is before she became Aretha. Chess Records. Pretty cool piece. I'm happy to have it. It's embossed at the top with the catalog number, but I don't think it's all that valuable. I mean, it's got a barcode and everything, so if it's got a barcode, chances are it's a later pressing, but all right, this is also, I said it was my first Kiss album I ever owned earlier. Guess what? I got my first Elvis as well. Elvis Golden Records. And this is about as common as an Elvis record gets. So this thing is everywhere. I see it all the time in cheap bins. But I've never bothered to have it. It's part of this collection, so I am happy to have it. All right, two more. Rose Royce, In Full Bloom. Rose Royce 2. These are the car wash. I know that song, Car Wash, from the mid-'70s, working at the car wash. Anyway, I'm not going to sing for you. Look at these guys. Isn't that cool? So 70s soul. It's so 70s. This has a song called Wishing on a Star, which I believe was a minor hit for them. But still, it's such a grandiose package. I can't wait to hear it. And we'll finish off this video, I think. Yeah, we'll finish this one off here with a copy of Yesterday and Today. Not a special, butcher cover. I don't have one of those. But I do have several of these. This one's a later repress. It's on the Purple Capitol label. And I know that it's a repress because it's got the gold record thing here. But still a cool way to end it. Anytime you get a Beatles as part of a collection, I'm going to keep it. So that concludes this one. And I appreciate you watching. Now it's 3 videos recorded today. I'm going to do one on the 45s. I'm in the process of cataloging them now. There's a lot of them. And some of them are really, really interesting. And some of them are quite valuable. So I'm excited to show you those. And then we'll get into some of these others that didn't quite make, or at least not yet. I might soon add them to my collection, but I want to show them to you anyway, so we'll have to do more videos on that later. All right, well, thank you again for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Have yourselves a great week, and we'll talk to you real soon. Thanks.